Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game I am playing the Tier 9, soon to be Tech Tree, currently Special, German Heavy Destroyer. I guess that's what we're going to call it. That's what I'm going to call it. Schultz. Been a lot of jokes about that in game, referencing Schultz from Hogan's Heroes, those of you familiar with that show. And in a way it's kind of similar. It's big, it's a little bit ungainly. On paper, it seems a little doofy, but it can be used to decent effect. Now, I've played this ship almost exclusively since picking it up. And how did I pick it up? Well, did I whale? Well, I guess you could say that. What am I doing there? I am saying, okay, I don't see any signals, I don't see any camo, so I am not going to count on the Mahan to do anything useful. Getting back to what I started with there, the Schultz it's an interesting combination of things. As you can see, it's got decent detection range. Not great, but decent. You can see the kind of light blue dotted circle around the ship on the minimap. That's the AA range. That goes out 6.5 kilometers. So you have to be really, really careful with this ship. Do not be fooled. Yes, it has defensive fire for anti-aircraft, and you're going to shoot down a few planes in a CV game. But is it going to make a difference? Is it going to save you? Is it going to save anybody you're trying to help? No, not at all. So don't, at least in my opinion, don't count on any help from your defensive fire, your defensive AA there. Just play this thing like a boat that fires torpedoes and has decent guns. Now, the guns, I'll get to the torpedoes last. Well, not last necessarily, but later. The guns, they hit really hard. Kind of like Hindenburg hard. The AP on this ship is really, really good if you can catch an angled target. But that's kind of the trick. Most of what you're going to be running into in this ship is other destroyers, and most of them, you can see the resilient proc there, which would give me some healing if I needed it, but usually it happens at the beginning of the game like this, where you don't. Now, I have had games where I've had it proc, and it has made a big difference. So Gunther Lutyens is a fantastic captain for basically any German ship. I got some AP off, and you can see it's fairly accurate, has pretty good trajectory, but he backed up, and he's continuing to back up, and it's not going to be easy to catch him. Reload on these guns, it's respectable. I sat here way too long. I knew I needed to be moving, and instead of moving forward, which would have taken me out of the cap, I opted to stay here, which was a mistake. But, you know, rolls your dice, you take your chances. Fiji just completely outran my torpedoes, and this ship is huge. It's like Harugumo sized. So, ouch. You're not going to turn any tight corners in this thing, is what I'm saying. And if you have to stop in a hurry or accelerate in a hurry, well, you can accelerate more quickly if you take the right commander skill. But as you can see, this thing's basically, it handles more like a cruiser. And in fact, I would say there probably are cruisers that can slow down. Shoot, there are some Russian battleships that can slow down better than this thing. But of course, hey, you know, Russian. Oh, back to the point. These guns, if you get an opportunity to use them against a broadside opponent, they can do a lot of damage. The AP is pretty nasty. True to form for German destroyers, the HE is pretty anemic. I think it does 1700 max. You know, that's not nothing, but most destroyers are going to be able to do a little bit better with their HE. So the strength of this ship's guns really is in the AP. It's not that you can't do damage, because they arm much more effectively than you would think. So you can still do damage, but looking for broadside, in particular cruisers, in my opinion, with these guns. Now the torpedoes. Well, if you have played the U.S. Black or the Sims, you know about slow torpedoes. These torpedoes, they run at 50 knots. I mean, you can take the commander skill and pick up 5% more, but you know, on 50 knots, 5% more is next to nothing. So why would you waste that? I didn't. I just decided to live with the 50 knots because picking up 5% more would put him at 52.5 knots, which is still pathetic. And you know, there were other things I wanted to do with those points. I'll post up my commander build. That'll be the kind of the intro picture for this. Now, while I've been talking, those torpedoes have been crawling out there, and I did manage to land one of them. Now that's just like with Sims or the Black. You can surprise people because these torpedoes take forever to get there, but they have really nice range. I mean, they've got 12 kilometers of range. So, in my opinion, these torpedoes are used most effectively, at least for me thus far, having played, I don't know, a dozen, maybe 15 games in this ship, as area denial. And you can catch larger ships as they traverse. Now, why am I heading out here? I did not want to head out here. But there is a Schultz out here that is tracking our Roma, and it's going to take the Alaska too long to get there. So I felt I should get out here and try and spot torpedoes for our Roma. Because our Mahan went over here, and then as soon as he ran into a bad guy, he ran away. Remember him? No camo, no signals. Yeah, he's about as useful as I expected in this game. Now I asked the Roma if he was detected because I wanted to get some idea of how close the Schultz was and whether or not I'm going to eat a face full of torpedoes when I come around this corner. Now, one other thing about this ship is because it's so big, it can arm the AP shells on this thing. So if you run into another one of these things and you're in this ship, you can take massive damage from that AP if you're showing broadside. I had a volley where I forget exactly how many shells landed, either 3 or 4, and I did 72 or 7,300 damage with the AP. That's pretty gnarly, so you got to be careful about that. Now, if this was almost any other destroyer, I would think my torpedoes might have a chance of getting there, but I'm already sitting here laughing when I was playing the game, saying there's no way the torpedoes are going to get there in time. But they reload pretty quickly, so I went ahead and threw them, you know, because, hey, maybe this player decided to refill his milk glass or something. Unlikely, but possible. Now, you may have seen a little while ago I was chiding the Odin about sitting behind the island, and, well, he really makes good, because he charges down here and he's taking no prisoners. Now, those are AP shells. Now, that was a 2,700 point volley. Another 2,700 volley. It's not too shabby, really, right? He juked me there. Get off one more volley here. Now the Schultz, he's going to be dead very shortly. I'm just hoping he doesn't take out our Odin with torpedoes or anything. You can see my torpedoes are just slowly crawling along. There are destroyers that can outrun the torpedoes on this thing. That's a sobering truth about playing the Schultz. Now we've got him spotted. And I'm guessing he's probably thrown torpedoes the other direction trying to kill a battleship. Really hoping I'd get him, but nope. Odin secondaries got him, and Odin also took out the Jean Bar. And he was saying earlier that he didn't want to get close because of the Jean Bar. Well, nicely done, brother. You faced off with the Jean Bar and just smacked him around. So in this game, you know, we're trying really hard to get that Charlie Cap secure, but we've only got the Lepanto there, and he's backed up by an Akazuki that's almost dead and an Odin that's almost dead. Now, Alaska and Roma still have a lot of hit points, but they are a long way from the fight. Now, we do have a points lead. We've still got 6 ships. Bad guys have only got 5. But you can see Palmer is pushing into Lepanto there, and Palmer is, at least in my opinion, ideally suited to be able to just crush the Lepanto. He can just keep his nose to him. And at that range, 2, maybe 3 volleys from the Lepanto is all he's got to shrug off. And then if he hasn't killed him with shells, he can torpedo him. And that's likely what the Palmer is thinking. So you'll see he'll probably stay fairly well angled to him and just run right at him. Meanwhile, Alaska and the Roma, they're making full speed, trying to get there to be able to help. So our Lepanto's got almost, well, he's just losing, he's bleeding hit points like crazy. It's going to be over any second. Palmer's secondaries, I'm sure, are just shredding. It's, you know, now he's got the range to be able to use torpedoes. Lepanto's going to, I'm sure he's trying for a ram here, but it's just not going to happen. And just like that, the bad guys take the lead, and they are in position to secure that cap because they've got the Z-31 right there. Now our Odin, he's basically facing the same position that the Lepanto did. He's nose in, he doesn't really have anywhere to go, he can't turn. If he does and shows broadside, somebody's going to blap him. Or a torpedo will catch him. So I'm rushing this way thinking, well, I can smoke, and at least then if he wants to head out, the bad guys won't know whether he turned to port or turned to starboard. And I'm going to throw torpedoes out here preemptively. It looks like Palmer is going to probably ground himself there. Maybe I catch him with a torpedo or two, and that'll help us a lot, because as you can see, he's got a lot of hit points left. So we got to deal with that, and we got to deal with the Z-31, who's still at almost full hit points. So I have to be careful that I don't get spotted here, because I do not have a whole lot of hit points to bleed off. I do have a smoke I can use, and Odin, he pushed up, and there's it made it impossible for me to smoke him. I mean, yeah, somebody was going to get him. Now, he had no way of knowing it, but if he had just run straight toward me, I could have smoked his retreat, and the Palmer would have had his broadside, but he would have been in smoke. Now, I'm going to smoke up, and I'm going to try and get some shells on the Z-31, but we'll see how long he stays visible. Exactly that long. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have torpedoes coming this way. I do manage to land 3 torps on the Palmer, and he's in big trouble now. You can see he's healing. It's only so far I can back up here before I run into this guy. I was hoping to be able to back up far enough to get guns on the Palmer. At this point, I'm just hoping Roma can finish the Palmer, but Alaska's also in position, and he's got his broadside, and Alaska finishes him off. Now you can see the AP shells coming out of that smoke. That's a Z-31. And I'm still waiting on the torpedoes. There they are. Just thinking maybe I could get an angle to be able to get torpedoes out there, but with Alaska there I really can't. So why did I throw the torpedoes there? Well, the torpedoes reload pretty quickly, and I threw that out just in case the Z-31 runs close. He's probably not, but in case he does, the torpedoes are there. And I'm going to try and do what I can to help the Alaska, hoping Veneto will turn in here to the Alaska and show me some side. And you can get an idea of what these shells are capable of. You know, my aim isn't all that great here, but I'm trying to keep the island between myself and the Z-31 while I continue to put AP into the side of the Veneto. That's pretty respectable AP damage. I probably should have switched to HE here, in retrospect. But I wanted to be able to get shells out immediately, and I just stuck with the AP. Decent damage on the first volley. See, See, I did switch back to the HE there. And now I've just got a blind fire. He can't see me. Got to watch my angle because I don't want to get torped. And he's running forward. Alaska's going to radar. That's it for Z31. Now this is an interesting game. We're down 100 points. They've got 3 caps. We've only got 1. They've still got 5 minutes. And there are the torpedoes that I was concerned about. That's a pretty close thing. So my suggestion is Alaska, get B. Just go dark and grab B. I'll try and push into this cap. What that does, if Alaska's able to go dark here without getting blapped, then he could run north from B and maybe get A, because I'm guessing the Amagi is going to run for Delta. Now I'm going to be able to secure this cap if he does that, probably before he even gets to Delta. Alaska will have secured Bravo before he gets to Delta. And that'll give us 3 caps, at least briefly. And at worst, it'll be 2 caps to 2 caps with Atlanta racing for Alpha. And then I can turn and meet him at Delta. And just reset the cap. So that's what's going on in my head right now. I'm looking at the radio location or radio position finder, and you can see it shifted to the right there, to the starboard side. So that tells me, yeah, Amagi is running for Delta, and that's the smart play. I think he did the right thing there. He doesn't want to face off with, a destroyer's torpedoes. So this is going to all come down here to whether I can get this cap secured. I'm going to have to spin around here and start heading back. The idea is to, that figures. Be right back. Sorry about that. So the idea here again is to get this cap secure and basically secure the cap the same instant that I'm crossing the line, leaving the cap. Since I had a little bit of time to type, I went ahead and typed that out. So Alaska knows he's safe if he runs for Alpha. And I expect, so we've got the 3 caps there for about 5 seconds. And as expected, Amagi is now in the Delta cap. And I'm guessing he's going to run to the south end of the cap, thinking that I pushed through the north. But we'll see. Now you'll see that, I'm close enough where I'm going to get detected if he's real close to me. But I do have a smoke available. And I think with 10,000 hit points, I'll be able to survive the first blast. I want to keep an eye on him. So I'm not smoking yet. There's the first blast. And yeah, it was close. But I was able to survive it. And now I just have to keep resetting the cap. Maybe I get a fire here. If I get a fire and he repairs, then maybe I can catch him with a torpedo. I don't think he's going to leave the cap. So I'm going to keep the torpedoes inside the cap circle for the most part. There's no way he's going to push toward me. And I think if I'm able to reset that cap one more time, with 1 minute 20 seconds left, I think we got the game. So I'm just going to use the indicator and try and hit him with something. I'll run out the back side of the smoke here, and I managed to catch him with a torp. There's the reset that I needed, so I won't have to use the guns. I may still do it, but I won't have to. And with 58 seconds left, I think we're going to have this. It's going to be close. I'm just watching his guns. Where are they aimed? Looks like they're aimed where my smoke was. reset the cap again. And now I just have to survive. I know the shells are coming, but they are wide of the mark. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote. There's no way his guns can reload in time. And this one is going in the W column. Thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.